Hi, Granny Pat. How are you?
I was okay until a few minutes ago and was about to have a nervous breakdown. You want to know
You're
why?
Wait
Well,
just a minute.
we'll let our audience know that
Okay, what is
I'm a pain in the neck when it comes to trying
Oh,
to get green.
no, she's not. She's telling y'all a fib.
Oh yes, I get like this. Yeah,
Well, I do
I
too, but we get it
I
done.
yeah. Listen, folks. This man has got the patience of Job. In fact, I think he has more patience than Job had because he's dealing with me, trying to teach me all this stuff. He taught me one or two things out of about 3 dozen, and I'll give him credit that he still comes back and talks to
That's right.
me. Yes,
That's right.
yeah. Now
Yes.
that's a friend for you. That's a friend for you. Yes. What
So
new?
what's you been doing this week?
You know, I went to the little antique shop where Jan works one day, and I went to Walmart. I don't I just can't take to our Walmart. It's just a pain, well, a pain in the butt. And
Why?
when
Why?
you when you've got 20 checkout places and they're all self-check, I don't self-check. And I thought I'm going to have to self-check for the first time in my life. And finally a young man pointed to his cash register and said, "I'll take you over here." And I thought, thank the Lord for that. So I don't know. You buy a lot of things at Walmart. I know you do, but I don't know the roundabout of our Walmart well enough to know where to go to find what. And I walk myself to death. But I don't like their produce section at all. They put their potatoes in bags. You buy a bag. You can't buy two big potatoes. You can't buy
Yeah.
two potatoes. You can't
You know,
buy.
that's why I do go to Walmart, yes. But then I go to the country grocery store that has individual potatoes, has individual carrots.
Yes.
Because that's what, and you don't have another little grocery store there?
Well, I've got Kroger's, but I happen to be near. I was going to Walmart to buy myself. Get this. I was going to buy myself a safe. Well, that's to store all my money in it. I carry I carry an awful lot of money, and I carry check, one check in my purse in case somebody said, "Can you give me a check instead of
Yeah.
charging to your card?" Okay, well I do that, but I said I've got all these important papers. Now I'll tell you the important papers I have to that I need to keep.
Oh, yeah.
One, one of them is a deed to a house I bought in Corbin. That house was built in 1907. That house ain't there anymore, but I like the looks of that deed being that old.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the important paper that I'm storing in my little safe. Now, the one I wanted, I said, I need one where they can't get in my house and just carry it out. Well, I couldn't get it off the shelf. How was I going to get it home? Get it? Where was I going to put it in my house if I couldn't move it myself? Well, that canceled that one out. I said, well, I guess I'll have to find a smaller one. Have you got one the size of a envelope, the big envelope? Well, she found one for me, and I picked it up, carried it out of Walmart. Now, I've got to be careful what I put in that box because when the thief comes in, I don't want to leave disappointed when he carries my safe out the door with him. So,
You know,
yes,
that
go ahead.
reminds me of a story that, oh, not a story, something that happened to me when I was a little boy. My daddy took me to the sale barn, and then after that, he took me to the flea market, and he gave me $5 every time we go somewhere. So I would go tootle around and find stuff, and that's probably why I'm a hoarder now, because he let me buy whatever and bring it home. Well,
Yes.
I decided I needed a billfold. I was old enough and had my jeans on and my boots on, and I needed a billfold. So when I got back to the truck, he said, "Son, what'd you buy?" And I said, "A billfold, Daddy." And he said, "Well, that's good." And I said, "But you're gonna have to give me some more money because it took my whole $5 for my billfold."
Yes, yes, I can see that now.
So it'd be like you have a safe, but you spent all your money on the damn safe and not have nothing to put
I
in
don't
it.
think put in it except an old deed from a house that ain't there anymore. So I've
I
got some,
do. I do have the fire safe. I have a small fire safe that locks, but it's
yeah.
just like a suitcase, and that is what I keep our deeds in. Most of it goes in the bank safe deposit box, but that is my
Well,
passport
I,
and
that's
all
what I
that.
told her. I would like to have one that's fireproof, and of course the
Yeah.
one that was fireproof I couldn't lift it. And I said, well, if it's metal and it's locked, wouldn't that be considered fireproof? Things that are
No,
metal. Well, I'm
no,
not.
no,
Well, I'm
no.
not.
They get too hot and they'll burn the papers up before anything else.
Oh, well, I'll just set it by the front door so I can grab it when the fire catches on
Yeah.
fire. I go out the door.
Get one of your old purses. It works just as good as a safe.
I think I'm going to go with Jan's idea. I'm going to empty my ice cream container. I get the big one, the
Yeah.
the yeah. I'm going to empty it and clean it out good and put all my money down in there and stick it in the back of the freezer and have people think, well, if you like ice cream as well as I like ice cream, I take the ice cream first anyway before I'd be
Yeah.
looking for anything else. Yeah,
I
that'd be.
probably would too.
And I said, well,
I probably would too.
I really don't like the idea of putting my money in the freezer because I'll
Cold,
forget it is. I'll,
cold hard cash. You can't beat cold hard cash.
I never thought of that. I like that. Yeah. That, okay, that makes me feel better now that we're on camp. Starting to get a little bit nervous because as many times as we've done this and I still can't get it right. I
Get.
shouldn't be doing this. Do you know that? Because
Are you
I,
talking about getting the thing turned on and all that? As you're talking about getting it initiated?
yeah, every time
Oh,
I can if if you're not there to guide me through it, I can't do it.
well, let me tell our viewers how I do it. I call Granny Pat on her landline phone because she has to have her iPad and she doesn't have a cell phone. So I have to call her on the landline. And then she gets on her iPad and I give her the steps after step after step after we get it done. And then all of a sudden I hear a little ding dong and it's her come up on the screen in the studio. So I know she made it.
Yes, and I was just about ready to say, "Can we do this later?"
I was,
It started
well,
to get to me.
we got it. thank the Lord we got it. And we need to tell everybody we came on because, this is Labor Day weekend. Y'all stay safe out there because tomorrow there's a lot of people tipping the bottle, and they're already crazy drivers, especially on liquor. They'll be worse. So y'all stay
Well,
safe today and
I
tomorrow.
better call Jan and tell them to leave the wine at home. They're going down to the lake, and I don't want them falling in the water. So
No, no.
they're going to the lake. They didn't invite me, but of course it wasn't their cabin that they were going to. That's somebody else's. So I just have to excuse Jan and blame it on the owner of the cabin. So she's a real
It
good
would
friend
probably,
of mine too.
it'd probably be pretty hot. It'd probably be pretty warm outside.
It's beautiful place where they are on the lake, and I have a niece that has a house on the lake, and oh gosh, it's just a dream world when you get down there. And this may be a hint to her that she hasn't invited me down this summer. So uh,
You might get an invite.
you like to leave them with a guilt complex if you can, and that way that gets you an invitation to the lake and a ride up and down on the boat. So and see, I'm afraid of water. I don't know how to swim, so that's not a good place for me to be.
Well, I can swim if I have to, but I don't like to. I don't like, but I can.
Well, neither of us then need to go anywhere near the water. How's that? We'll stay away from the
Uh,
water.
Now, if a big ship's involved, I would just love it, I think, and I'd wear a life jacket.
Now I'm going to tell you this, and everybody else needs to know this too. When I won that contest, and it says you've got 10 days round trip on the Queen Elizabeth II. I first said,
Yeah.
what the Queen Elizabeth II? I found out, I went to a travel agency and I said, I want a book on Queen Elizabeth II. And boy, was I surprised. Oh my gosh, the biggest ship in the world. And
Yeah,
I can't
they're beautiful.
swim and I got motion sickness. And I'm going to be on that ship 10 days. 10 days? Well, I got on the ship, and this young detective from England was standing beside me. And we were looking at the what is it? The three big rocks out there in the as you come into the port. And I'm telling him that I have motion sickness. He We were getting ready to sit down to eat dinner. We were eating at the same table, and he says, as soon as you finish eating, go down to the infirmary and tell them you want a shot for motion sickness.
Motions. Mhm.
They gave me a shot in the butt, and I'll tell you what, I spent 6 days standing on by the rail watching that water float by, and I never got sick one time. I said, this is the most wonderful thing that's ever been discovered in my 80 some years, is a pill that will keep you uh, up and with it for 6 days straight. Well, it wasn't a pill, it was a shot. So
I know
uh,
we discussed that, and you said you didn't have no idea, and I've researched. I don't know what it could have been
I
in
don't
a
either.
shot form. They
And
would do it.
when I went the next time I was going to go, I asked my doctor. He didn't know what I was talking about either. He didn't have any idea what they had given me a shot of, because he was going to give me like Dramamine, and Dramamine just knocks me out. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm leaning against the wall. I'm walking along the corridor, and those are long corridors, and on those ships,
yeah,
you can even see
yeah.
the
They
other
are.
ship. And I'm walking along, and I'm leaning against that wall, trying to keep myself standing up because they knock you out. And I said,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't take Dramamine. So Anyway, I managed it 3 or 4 more trips on Queen Elizabeth II and the Queen Mary, and let's just say I've been there, done that.
I'm so glad that you found something that I've been watching. Mother and I've been watching before the pandemic. Was our friends? Well, you just mentioned them, and of course, I got that email back from them the other day telling how much they're glad that you and I continue to watch and everything. The Kirsten, and
Yes, George.
George.
Kirsten
They're
George.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I love those little shows. And if anybody's watching, those are great. Look up Kirsten and George on YouTube, and Granny Pat will tell
Okay.
you a little about them.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that we did mention that on this show. And there's another one. It's called Belle and Stitch. She is
Bell and
so
Stick.
she is so she takes you on a trip through the streets, through the fields, down by the river. It is so beautiful. I just think I'm going to call and make reservations right now. I'm going to
Is it?
England.
Does she do mostly in London?
She is in London. She is in
Oh,
London. No, not in London. No, she's not in London. I was just thinking England. Um, she has said the little village that they live in, and it's the most gorgeous scenery. You see the rabbit, the ducks, the goats, everything. And her husband helps out. He gets in front of the camera so that she'll have something to aim her camera at with their
uh,
dog. She has a 3-part program every time. She takes you out and she has music in the background, which makes it even better. And she shows you all the countryside and the little villages and shops and things. And I think, why didn't I see any of that when I was in England? Then she goes from that and she goes to her kitchen and she does what you do. She usually does a dessert. The ones that I've seen, she's doing desserts, and they look so wonderful. It she's got the prettiest kitchen. She just stands in one spot just like you do and works with her materials and the finished product. And I think, oh, that's a dream kitchen. I want that kitchen. And then she goes from there and she's very crafty. She knits, she does all sorts of things. And she promised to, I hope she's watching this, because she said she was going to knit me a pair of socks.
oh,
She
really?
knit
Well, that.
she knit the prettiest socks you ever saw. And right now she is still working on I think it's like a shawl for herself. And when I look at what she's doing, I think, how in the world does she do this? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Her yarns are, she, she's just great at choosing her color combinations. And she's got such a sweet personality. You have to watch, you start watching her show, you won't turn away from it till it's finished. You can't turn away from it. And that she got what I call a 3-part show every time. And I just watched one this morning. I think it's one she just finished. And I thought, what do I have to do to get to England? I've got to go visit this lady. It's just so beautiful. It's like a dream world.
Well, if
And I,
any, if any time, if I ever get any time to settle down, we might go.
I,
I think it'd
I
be interesting.
well, see, I've reached the age so that I can't do too much walking. Now I'm going to tell
Well,
you about.
that's what I told mother. Mother said, "Well, I just can't walk anymore like I used to." I said, "That's why you get a little scooter and you just zip around. You rent
Zip
them when you
around
get
on
there."
uh, uh, have you ever ridden on one of those cobblestone streets?
Well,
You know what
I
it's
don't think,
like,
I don't
cobblestone
think,
streets.
I think they have a portion of that now where for wheelchairs and stuff that's not, they've overlaid it. So you don't have all
Yeah.
that.
Well, anyway, I want Belinda and Kirsten and George to know how much we like
We
their show.
really like them.
How
Yeah.
anxious we are to come to England and meet these
Yeah.
people.
It'd
Oh,
be fun.
that would be my last dream. My first dream was to get to go to England. I've been there now. This would be my last dream to get to go again. So
Oh, it'd be great. It would be great.
yeah,
Yesterday, we enjoyed your tablescape yesterday for the holiday table. Mother and I went in, and she was, of course, I had that wasp incident, trying to kill those wasps. I don't know if you watched, I don't know if you watched my video from last night or not, but I'll
not
tell you
yet.
about it.
I haven't
It's
watched.
funny. People enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was too funny while it was going on. But
Well, were you doing the apple? Was that the one with the apple pie or cobbler? What was it?
yeah,
Is that the one?
yeah, it's
Well, I
not, I don't
watched
consider
it.
it a cobbler. I do not consider it a cobbler. And I even, at the, my throat, I'm sorry, y'all, allergies. At the end of the video, I talk about if I like it or I don't like it. And it's okay for a quick and easy recipe. It's nothing like my apple cobbler. It's more like my grandmother's apple cake. And
Yeah, yeah.
it was better. It was better this morning. I was kind of like you with the German chocolate cake. I'd get a little bite when I went by the cabinet. So
Keep
it
it
was better
handy.
this morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fork and knife handy right there. Yeah, that's the way it
I
is.
haven't uploaded today. I've been in there cooking our lunch today, and I made I got eggplants, 3 big eggplants for 99 cents at the country grocery store yesterday.
Yeah.
So I made the old eggplant casserole. I made that with some fried chicken and some gravy.
Now you think I would like that? See, I don't go for things like avocados and eggplants and that sort of thing. I'm just weird when it comes
Let me
to.
show it. Let me show it to you.
Where'd you go?
It kind of comes out like it kind of I was going to get it. It kind of came out like a dressing,
Oh, okay.
like a dressing, but it's very tasty and I like
Okay.
it. But it's got bell peppers and all that I put in it, so I like it.
Well, I don't think you can beat a good apple cake. You know, one that's
Well,
got the
now,
nut, what have you, the kind that you fix at Christmas and Thanksgiving. Uh,
well,
my sister.
this apple recipe is good. I didn't put nuts because you know why.
Yeah, I know
Not gonna
why.
not
Yeah.
gonna say it, but yeah, it's a good recipe, and it's a low sugar or regular sugar. So that's one good thing about it. Diabetics can eat it if they make it their way, and you can eat it your way.
Yeah. Well, I told you I was going to try the your what was it? I was going to try chicken Alfredo. Love
Yes.
Alfredo, I really do. But I've been afraid to try making it for fear hell if I don't do it right. I've got all this food here, and what am I going to do with it? So I watched your chicken Alfredo, and you get sent me the recipe.
Then I got that emergency message yesterday, everybody, that she'll tell you.
You go ahead and tell it. Go ahead and
I
tell it.
looked, I looked, and my phone went ding, 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 and I was driving, of course, to the store, and I read it, and she said, "I got everything going, and got my chicken cooking and everything, and I fell asleep on the couch and I burnt the meal up.
Right, that's what I did. It was stuck to the bottom of that Riverware pan. Stuck. I said, there goes chicken Alfredo. So, yeah, I
Well,
know. I don't know why. I walk out of the kitchen. I go sit down on the couch. I get in front of my iPad and I start reading my messages, and I forget that I'm doing anything in the kitchen. Too late, too late. Chicken burnt. So
well, you
anyway, I will.
tried. Yeah, it's an easy recipe. Even making your Alfredo sauce is so easy, and you don't get all that products that's in that jarred sauce. So that's why I make it, because I don't want all that stuff in my food. And it's so
No,
easy, and it was so good.
yeah. Well, I thought
We
about you.
ate the rest of it. We ate the rest of it yesterday because I didn't make a big bunch of it. And
Yeah,
then I sent my friend some with her so she'd have something to eat. But it's good.
I'm trying to think what I ate. Uh, I may have had a Jimmy Dean croissant sausage and egg stuck in the oven, But
Those are
I
always good standby.
got that, yeah.
Well, we've been on here 26 minutes. I wanted us to come on here because everybody enjoys us and we just talk like we always do. And it being the holiday weekend, we wanted to stress that, everybody should be safe. And
Well,
I want to
I'll be
check in
very.
on Grandma.
I don't have any plans of any kind. So, but I did want to comment about the video I did last night. Have you seen the video I did last night about my?
Not being so.
You see that video? I'm not
Was it
getting
the
it.
one about what's the name of getting in service or something?
Yeah, yeah. During the Civil War, Civil War.
No, I haven't got to watch it because I've been so busy.
Okay, I think you will enjoy it because I ran across. Well, here it is, right here. See this right here. See, this is a picture of. There's 8 pages here. 8 pages on that woman. This was during the Civil War. This, I think, was written by a professor at Berea College, and I just happened to I ran across it and I thought I didn't know I had this, but I started reading it, and I'm telling you, I've already had viewers tell me they want me to read the entire story. That's 8 pages of this. I'm not sure everybody wants to listen to me read that much, but it could be broken down into 3 segments, 3 different videos, the first, second, third part, because this is one of the most interesting. I'm not a big reader, but for true stories, this is one of the best true stories I've ever read about life during the Civil War and what one woman accomplished during her
Hmm.
lifetime. It's unbelievable. And I couldn't remember everything I had read, so I was just picking out certain things in these pages. But it needs to be told exactly like it is written in this document right here.
Well,
And
I think you should try to read that. And just like I tell everybody when they're watching me in the kitchen, I've quit turning my camera off and on most of the time, especially if I have something on my hands. But they can fast forward if they don't want to hear the whole thing. But I think that would be good for your listeners to hear you tell the whole story, and I would enjoy it.
I I just think for the young people in high school now, they need to hear this story about
Yeah.
this lady. They need to
That's right.
find what she went through. I mean, she was
Yeah.
being accused of being a spy, and she was doing all she could just to feed her children with her husband. He was had been killed uh, at Mill Springs, Kentucky, in the battle. She was there alone with all of her children, trying her best to keep them fed and alive. And the soldiers come in and accuse her of being a spy. And she lives night by night, can't sleep at night because she doesn't know when they're going to burst into her home and take her away and take her to prison. And they did take her away, but they only kept her one night. Her oldest child at home at that time was 11 years old. How could
Sad.
anybody,
Very sad.
you
That's
know, it's
very sad.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable, but it's a true story. And I think the young people of today need to be told these stories. They need to know what people went through a
Yeah, if you can
hundred
get them to sit still
years ago.
long enough, if you can get
Yeah.
them to sit still long enough to hear it,
Well, you'll have to put their iPhones in the toilet in order to get them to sit, listen. I'm sure of that. But I have said to my kids, when you come to my house for dinner, put
yeah,
your iPhones in your purses. We are not going to use the iPhone today.
yeah,
And they just
yeah.
look at me and roll their eyes. So anyway, and I think, oh, I can't believe that this is life today, but it
It
is.
is. Okay, Granny Pat, I've got a lot to going on. I've got to go into Dallas at 5:30 to get a boot for my brother-in-law that fell, and I don't know if it's the chemo medicine or what, but his foot just broke yesterday. He fell, but he passed out. I don't know why. There's a lot going on that I don't understand, and he needs to go to the doctor. And he's redneck, and he's a cowboy, and he just don't think he needs to go to the doctor. It's one of those things. So you
Yeah.
can't tell someone what to do. You just have to help with them if you can.
Well,
But we'll talk.
he's mighty lucky to have you there taking care of him.
Well, I don't mind. I'd do it for anybody. But we'll talk to you later, Granny Pat.
Okay, thanks. Bye bye.
Hey, thank you for watching, everybody. Tell everybody bye, Granny Pat.